This workshop wants to be a help to see how to apply the healing teachings of P.Yogananda to situations that commonly during a class, of course, we cannot share because there is no time. So you are most welcome to ask questions about how could we address this issue? How could we address that issue? Because your issue is not only your issue, it's the issue of thousands of other people. Thousands of other people. And will give us the chance to see how to use different tools that perhaps we didn't even have the time to talk about in the 1 hour satsang we had. For instance, the fantastic, powerful, crucial tool of affirmations that Yogananda called scientific healing affirmation. We couldn't talk about, because it would take 2.5 hours. So, we will talk about that as well. Now, know that it's not just a vague healing philosophy. It is a very specific scientific corpus of healing tools and healing concepts at the base of those tools that not a good writer, a good motivational speaker came to give and share, but an avatar. As we shared before, it is not a joke that this old lady, illiterate, elderly, in an incredibly difficult context, she had a vision during the healing, not even done on her, but on someone 20 meters from her. She saw Krishna doing exactly one of the healing techniques of P.Yogananda for healing the mind, which impossibly she could know. She obviously didn't know, obviously. So what does it mean? That these are divine teachings, as we know, divinely working. What does it mean, divinely working? Working where you and I could not get. With what? With our conscious mind. No matter how intelligent, how educated, how sharp it is. He went beyond because he was beyond. And in fact, all the healings happen through the, we said, superconscious mind. He said the fifth pillar of his healing system, beside the diet, the exercise, the breathing, and the sunlight, is the unshakable faith, he says, that in the mind lies the infinite healing power of God. These are all his words. So, what does it mean? In the mind lies the infinite healing power of God? In which mind? And then, we need to truly understand that the use that we are doing of our faculties during a healing process is not the use of the conscious mind, at which level we are talking, is not the use of the subconscious mind, which is the big storage of all the thoughts we ever had. Not today, since I was born in 1926. 926 lifetimes ago. 19,1200 lifetimes ago, you understand? So the storage of all those thoughts, all those emotions, all those habits, all those reactions, all those habits to react in a certain way. So it is certainly not at that level, not through that faculty, that we face a healing process. But Yogananda explains, it is at the level of our consciousness where that infinite divine healing power of God lies, which is the superconsciousness. You understand? That's why this kind of teachings, this kind of techniques cannot be used if you do not know how to get there. Not because you are already a Nirvikalpa Samadhi yogi. Not a Samvikalpa Samadhi yogi. Just because you have known, you have learned how to interiorize your mind through meditation. Again, not through impossibly highest forms of esoterical techniques. Meditation. Let's repeat here. Why? Sir, you were not there. Dear friend, you were not there before. So in the satsang before, let's repeat the crucial few words that make us understand from Yogananda why meditation is the first step of whatever healing tool a great avatar gives. Because, let's repeat, during meditation, the mind gets interiorized and withdraws within the process of interiorization, withdraws the life force from, Yogananda says, muscle and nerves, and concentrates it in the brain. And, he says, the life force concentrated in the brain has the intelligence to see where the seeds of karma have cut subtle grooves in the brain cells and keep on calling situations always the same, one life after the other, and has the power to, and he uses different verbs to destroy them, to burn them, to cauterize them, to pulverize them, to electrocute them, to reducing them to ashes, to conflagrate them. Do you hear the power of these verbs? Not just to cancel them, more. Because all of those means all the sources of whatever physical, emotional, mental, material issue we are facing are ancient. And here, these healing teachings, these healing methods, these healing techniques are there to accelerate what would be a normal process of erasing those sources of disease. So in order to accelerate something, what do? Now there is a new flight, London, New York, going there like the old Concorde in 3 hours, I don't even remember. What does it do? Does it go at the same pace of the old flights, 1978? No, it goes at the fastest pace. What does it mean? That it bears more energy. It needs more energy. It needs more energy. What do we need to have more energy? Do you understand? What do we need to have more energy? You see how it's logical? Are you able to follow me in this process? What do we need to have more energy? Why will? Why will? Because he says the greater, we go back to his words, not just to our fancy imagination. His words. The greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. Fine. What kind? Come in, sit down and close the door, otherwise here we'll never, yeah. So, welcome, you are most welcome, it's a joy to see you. So, what kind of energy? What kind of energy? What is a dear friend, so I could talk like that. What kind of energy? What kind of energy? It's not just pumping the muscles from the gym again. It's the divine, conscious, cosmic energy. Yogananda says, always surrounding us. Please, sir, come in. You are most welcome. Divine, cosmic, conscious energy, always surrounding us. So he explains that. Human life is like a building with 3 windows, out of which there is permanently pouring on it the light of God. The light is one of the manifestations of God, means the presence of God, means what? That energy. Good news, it is up to us to open our windows of, he doesn't say only windows, he says window of physical health, mental, emotional health, material health, spiritual health. It is up to us to open it up to that light to come in and offer what? It's just in order to have light. It's very specific, it's never vague. That life brings physical healing, emotional, mental healing, material healing, spiritual healing. You understand? But he says, unfortunately, this is I say unfortunately, he says, in order to have that light coming in, we need to open. He says, nobody can heal you but yourself. What does it mean? That you, right, you who came later, have to open these windows. Why? Because 50% is done by God. Yogananda says the mercy of God is constantly acting and available. Fine. 25% the Guru. The Guru allows the acceleration of burning the karma. Fine. 75%, great bonus. Then there is that famous 25%, where all the healing technique can start to operate. They do not operate only because we have, by the grace of God, the awareness that God exists, and the highest awareness that there are gurus, and there is our own Sadguru can help us. But because we activate that 25% by willing for that energy to come in through the tools given, right? Fine. Once we know the tools, they're not just ta-ta on the person. They can go in depth. Like your Kriya practice, yes, you breathe in, you breathe out, you know how. How many of you are Kriya Bans? Just to know. Don't feel ashamed if you are, and don't feel guilty if you didn't do level 4. Just tell me because I need to know. Fine, not many. All right. So, your meditation practice, do you know how to do Hong So? Yes, no, don't feel ashamed, don't feel guilty if you don't. Yes, no, Hong So? Okay, most of you, fine. So, kindly close your phone. So, even whatever practice we do, there is a way to do it which is generally doing it. And there is a way to do which transforms you. And there is a way to do that liberates you. Here is about liberating ourselves from diseases. Very good. So, meditation, first step, learning how to interiorize ourselves, and then deeply willing for a healing transformation to happen. And being open, being open, being open. Now, said this, I really don't want to talk too much random. I would like to know if you have specific questions about what we said this morning, or specific issues that you would like to be helped to use these tools for, if any. Yes.
There is a repetitive.
Do you mind to come here and say it loudly? Because it can help everybody else. Or I can take the mic. Yeah, no, maybe she doesn't. No, she's right for the privacy.
It doesn't come off easily.
It doesn't come off, so can you do this? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So there is a repetitive kind of fear psychosis of being
You said fears?
psychosis.
Yes.
So it's like more like a mental health problem, which is repetitively haunting me for being left lonely in this life, which if I reason out and with my meditation and all that, it's all sorted in this life, but it's some past life thing I'm stuck up with. And the person I'm stuck up with is also around, and there is a lot of mess, and the karma the relationship is not healing at all.
So this is perhaps the 150 times I'm hearing this all over the continents. It's the same for a countless number of dear people. Countless. Why is important? Yeah. Why it is important to hear this question? Because I know that each of you who will ask question, whatever, know that, as I said before, thousands, millions of people, same thing. Q? Because more or less, we all come from the same history. Chota variation here, chota variation there, same story. So, we come from a long history, fine? And I use again and again, I will use Yogananda words, fine? In that famous subconscious mind, which for the science lies here, we said there are stored all the emotions of all the past lives, all the thoughts, the reactions, the habits, the tendencies, the fears. And they do not depend from this lifetime. They have nothing to do with what we came, with what we apparently are in this lifetime. They have nothing to do with our conditions today, but they are there. They are there. Why? Because that exact precise fear, which was due to a very specific issue, maybe 375 years ago, or 375 lifetimes ago, there was a specific issue which caused that fear. What did that specific issue do? What did it do? It cut, Yogananda said, a subtle groove in her brain cell. And then she can tell me, oh, who cares of the subtle groove that it cut 375 years ago? The subtle groove cut 375 years ago by that fear is nothing but the readable aspect in this plan of duality of a state of consciousness. That very state of consciousness, until is resolved, it will come back with us. It is us, you know? It is us, it's just us. And will manifest exactly in another brain, in some brain cells. The Zurich University, 4 years ago, in the email I'm sending you, as I told you before, there is the exact study, all reported, don't worry, no need to write, Zurich doctor, PhD, is there in that email. 4 years ago, it was discovered that making experiments on rats, but who cares about that? Anyway, it was discovered, what the yogis know, what he said, Yogananda, that traumas, this is the fruit of a trauma. This fear is fruit of a trauma. Trauma? How do you say, trauma or trauma? Trauma. This fear is fruit of a trauma she had, who knows when, fine. So that trauma manifests in a specific protein in the brain called RNA, which goes down up to 3 generations. Means maybe she doesn't even know her mother had it, her grandmother. But it matters even that only until a certain point. But just to say that they have seen that there is something there left as a very clear impact stamp in our brain from traumas from the past. They say the mother and the father, which is also true. Yogananda says you are the result also of the karma of your parents, of the karma of the nation where you were built, where you were born, of the family where you were born, or the city, and so on and so forth. But we know great part is because of something that happened, who knows when. So that is when, dear friend, the superconscious healing techniques of the laser beam of blazing light that we are sending from the center of the superconsciousness in our body, which is the point between the eyebrows, which scientifically is the prefrontal lobe, where Yogananda says the divine infinite consciousness of God is lying in our body, and we use it. What does it mean using that? Why? Is it only a divine thing that we are doing that it makes sense because it's the presence of God? It's actually even more than that. Because what do we need to destroy something like this, to use a word of Yogananda? What do we need? We understood. Not, obviously she's a highly educated person, we see, full of grace, highly educated, we can see that. Not enough. So we said it's not the conscious mind which is going to work on that, it's something else. Why using the cosmic consciousness, divine healing presence of God is necessary? Because it has one thing that the conscious mind doesn't have and the subconscious mind doesn't have. And you know what is that? The creative power. God is the creator, so has the creative power. So that's why in the method, one of the methods we have seen, yoga, where we are commanding the power of God within us to burn the seeds of past life, past karma, we say, I command that. What does he say before that? He doesn't start saying, you have to do this. No. He said, before that, say, I and my Father are one. Father means divine God, no? Why? Because by reclaiming and affirming our unity with God, what are we doing? Shamini. We are affirming the creative power, the unity with the creative power of God. He says, the power of a healer is not his own power. Mr. Rajiv Kumar is a healer. Mr. Rajiv Kumar is not someone who has a power. The highest power, he said, a high, powerful healer is someone who has performed something very good. Not his power, has performed the communion with God. So anytime we use one of these superconscious healing techniques, we are reuniting ourselves in our superconsciousness with God and its creative power. Are you understanding how logical it is? Are you getting how logical it is? So, dear, you will start to meditate with this awareness. We can use our meditations, our kriyas, as healing tools, with the awareness that ultimately we are here to heal from karma, as we said. Why to heal from karma? To get back to the unity with God, which is the supreme meaning of life. Let's not forget we are here as spiritual seekers who have come a long way and who are wanting to be free. Let's never forget that from where we are talking. So, you will use, this is a very typical case. What would I say? Use the superconscious healing technique after your meditation. Gather all your energy, for those who are not here, gather all your energy at the spiritual eye, after your Ong So practice, or after your Kriya. And visualize that energy becoming a big, powerful, strong light. And visualize that light specifically transformed into a laser beam. Shine it on your brain, and as you know the issue, she knows, I have a fear of the unknown which is chasing me. These are her words. Typical. Millions of people with this. Shine it there. Of course, you don't know that the brain cells with the grooves of fear are exactly at 34 degrees east in your brain. You don't know. That light knows it. That light knows it. Because, Master said, it has an intelligence to identify where it is, to identify what it is, where it is, when it started. And it has two powers, that light. One, the power to destroy that. Second, an infinite power of projection. It has the power to go there at the origin, in time and space, where the issue started. I'm talking out of having seen, I don't know how many cases anymore of dear friends like her healing from that, doing this. Get it? It is working, it works. But you have, as we said, Sumitra, the will, you have to have the will for this to happen. So when you visualize this light, first you have to have the will to heal. You have the will to have that light working, because then the greater the will, the greater the energy, that light will be more powerful, will be much present, it is always present, and it is always powerful. Let's be aware of this. Let's all agree that it is always present and it is always powerful. But is it active? Not always. How does it become active? In two ways. One, the grace of God. The miracles that happen out of the blue. We see that, we see them. We see them. Yes, we see them. Yes, we do. The mercy of God acts in mysterious way. Nobody can understand why. Wonderful that it happens, and miracles happen. Then it happens for a second reason. Because you activate it. Right? The healing techniques are forms of reactivation of the superconsciousness of the divine healing presence in the superconsciousness within us. Fine? First of all, is it clear what I said until now? So you send it, and then you say, and then you say, and you add the other method. When I told you before in the satsang, you can combine it. So, the words of Master, I command thy power within me to cauterize my brain cells of, and not undetermined wrong habits, of fear. This very fear which is chasing me of the unknown. Burn it up in thy divine light, and then I command my brain cells, in this way, not my brain cells to cauterize the grooves of, listen, Vandana, he says, lots of will and concentration, and you have heard Master's voice. It's not just, no. It's destroyed. Destroyed. And not only destroyed, I destroyed. So you see, Yogananda applies in everything he writes the great principle that the famous 75% is there, and so I command thy power within me to cauterize. So you activate his power. You tell him, you told me that you are doing the 25% is done by the Guru. So I command thy power to do your job, but then he doesn't forget the 25. So he said, then you add, I command my brain cells to change and to destroy the grooves of bad habits which are made. Bad habits, she didn't have any bad habits, oh, she's such a poor lady. But who knows? So fine, even having the fear is, ironically and paradoxically, a bad habit. Not that she's guilty of anything, but it's a bad habit because it harms her. So he said, burn it by saying, I burn this fear, but I'm not acting. Sorry, this is how he was talking. And why? Why like this? Was he doing only because he was a great Bengali, expansive, enthusiastic Indian, fabulous man? No. But because these words, precise, not inventing here, precise word, said with great will and great power and concentration, as he said, not me, they convey, listen, Vandana, the consciousness, the creative consciousness of God towards the destruction of the consciousness within you which has produced the fear. Are you following? Fine. If this is clear, you can ask the next question.
Regarding what you spoke, the question is that when I intend to put light and try to destroy it, it sometimes triggers off something. Yes. Then what?
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what happens in the healings. After the first time, it can be they get worse. They go home, they start to fight with the whole family. And I know someone here knows very well what I'm saying. Why? Why people who get Kriya initiation, they go home and something very intense happens, and I'm using a euphemism to say intense, and they say, oh, it's because I got Kriya initiation, it's not good. Yes, it is exactly because you got Kriya initiation, and it is very good. Because it's stirring the energy, triggering, clap, hooray, it is happening. Why? You are disturbing the first effect of darkness. Paramahansa Yogananda defines disease. This is a disease, we agree. Thank God is not a physical disease. But is it thank God? Same disturbance, same. He says, any disease is a form of darkness. What is the first effect of darkness? To hide everything about the disease except the effect. Isn't that amazing? So when you start to work for the healing, the veil of darkness, hiding the disease is finally, oh yeah, you are lifting it up. And the things start to, to trigger, to become crazy, and it seems impossible. Instead, it is the way through. So what does he say to help Vandana in this case? He says, patience. I'm using his words again, not just my imagination, intelligent, patience. Faith. Of what? In what? He says, unshakable faith in the awareness that he has heard the innermost call of your soul for the healing, for this specific healing. So, patience, faith, and then what? We agree? Something else? Persistence. Exactly. And then he says even more. He's like a surgeon. He's a surgeon, a divine healing surgeon. Repetition. 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 So, patience, faith, persistency, repetition. Repeat it, do it. Why? We are trying to accelerate the freedom from a karma. Fine. As we said before, this karma has been there for who knows how long. If it is so strong, it is certainly deeply rooted in her. Do we think, even only with our intelligent mind, that we can be free from this like this? Yes, sometimes it happens, Vandana. Yes, it does. Sometimes it does. I tell you, I've seen it. Grace of God. Good karma, Yogananda says. Sometimes it doesn't work immediately because there is a serious karma which needs to unfold. The person needs to suffer from the consequences of that karma, chota time more. But we understand, even with our logical mind, that something that we have built and which have been there for a long time, it will take some time, but it will work much faster through a healing wanted process than in the normal unfolding of karma, which could take you for other who knows how many lifetimes with this fear, as we see in common people. Psychology doesn't help, psychotherapy doesn't help, psychoanalysis doesn't help, homeopathy doesn't help, Reiki doesn't help, or medicine. I said homeopathy to say the highest point of medicine. Medicines don't help, of course they don't. In this case, one moment. Medicines help, and you have to do the cure that your doctor has told you. And yet, do also something else if you see that those are not enough. This is a way to put it about medicines. Not ciordo, they work, they help, they need support. They need support. Until, Yogananda said, you have reached a point where you can heal yourself in a moment from a cold, from thing. You need to prove it. Until you are not at that level, he said, it is the fancy thought of an immature, unaware person thinking that this doesn't exist and so I can do without medicines. No. Let's be very careful. Fine. So, persistence, then what? Continue with your meditation. Continue with your determined intention. This is the other word you use, the intention. Attention, ever deeper, deepening attention, he says, into using these tools. Do you have Kriya? You have Kriya. Fantastic. For those of you who are Kriya, I don't enter into the, of course, the practice. For those of you who have Kriya. The way to use your Kriya as a healing tool, always keeping in mind that Kriya is the sacred science to get free from karma and unite again with God for self-realization. You can use it as a healing tool by the fear. Lord, I am inhaling up. Listen, I am inhaling up in my Kriya. The that part of my consciousness which is manifesting in the form of fear. Vandana, you listen, if you want, we will write it later. Whatever is obsessive thoughts, whatever are the issues, jealousy issues, worry tendency, low self-esteem, feeling unwanted, feeling desperate, feeling alone, feeling left alone, feeling betrayed, hurts coming from feeling betrayed, hurts coming from not being wanted as a woman by your mother in your womb. This is all what he says. Prenatal issues, postnatal issues, family issues, all outer manifestations, visible manifestations of what? Not your mother, father, uncle, cha-cha, mama. Vandana's conscious. I offer up in this Kriya inhalation that aspect of my consciousness which is manifesting in this present fear. Then you come up with your Kriya, and when you arrive here, burn it, his words, Lord, burn it up in thy light. Om, om, om. And you see that om, Vandana, listen. Listen. That om has the presence of God. in form of sound, one of the 8 aspects of God. We have used it in form of light. We are using it in form of sound. The presence, the healing presence of God here, used in form of sound, on that aspect of your consciousness, manifested in form of fear. I assure you, you will see what happens. I assure you, because I've seen it, I see it all the time. Is it there? Is it understandable what I'm saying, first of all? Is it clear or not? Yes or not? Yes. Is it clear to you? Do you think you can apply it? Fantastic. Fantastic. Do it. Do it and do it again.
As long as there's no disturbance from external.
All right. Then, of course, there are always disturbances outside. Choose the people you meet. Now. She gave another issue. Again, it's not that I want to concentrate on this dear, beautiful lady in front of me. It's because what she has, I know many of you have. I know. Because I meet hundreds of women. And in India, particularly, there are issues. We are not here to hide things, isn't it? There are issues in families which are, my experience, 80% of the families, not 50%, 80%. And you know that I'm right. So with love, we understand that everything is only a manifestation of ourselves, of our karma. Is only a manifestation of our consciousness. My husband is a manifestation of my consciousness as much as I am a manifestation of his consciousness, in the good and in the bad. Fine. Do I have to chase him, shouting at him, or feeling desperate because this is as it is? No. I start, he says, to work within myself. In me lies the healing possibility, the healing tool, the healing power in me. And I start to use it. Then we go to another level. This is all what we said about using technique. Then we enter with the highest, subtlest healing tool, prayer. Here we have used very specific technique. Then we start with prayer. So what do you do? For whom do you pray? What do? You pray for yourself. You do that thing that we said, Satsa, the highest form. The way he said, like Jesus used to heal. Jesus could be Krishna, could be a great master. Empowering ourselves, as he says, divine healing batteries, by wanting to have the cosmic consciousness of God entering from the medulla, feeling ourselves first your spine. Seeing that from the spine it feels your brain, feels your arms, it feels your leg, feels all your body. Then again tensing, then again willing, seeing the process, tensing. Visualization, great healing, powerful tool. Visualize it happening. And then again, you do like, and then to whom do you send it? To the yourself of when it started. Because I repeat again and again, Yogananda says this energy has an infinite power of projection. In time and in space. What does it mean infinite? Not only infinite from here to who knows when, where. Yes, from here to who knows where, and from here to who knows when. When. And no matter what happened, we don't need to know what happened. That's why I know past life therapists. I'm a past life therapist, trained personally by Dr. Brian Weiss, the greatest in the world. But I tell you, I have seen that the issues are resolved without the need to see that you were Empress Virginia in Russia in 1902 and then someone stabbed you. No need. Sometimes, yes, is needed. Ik minut. I cannot be so immature and so ignorant to say, no, sometimes it's needed. The person is not able to do all this process. The person needs that. Yes, sometimes, yes. Many times, yes. Yeah, and it works. It works wonders. But I have seen that allowing, because we are yogis here. This is a contest of yogis. This is a contest of spiritual seekers. So we can use our tools given by our avatar's guru. Do you understand at what level we are trying to bring all this healing matter? Send it there. Send it there. And you say, God, wherever it started, whenever it started, for whatever reason it started, go there and transform it. Resolve it. Annihilate it. Annihilate it in thy divine presence. Yes. Yes. Is it easy to do this process? No. It is easy to remain in the issue? No. It is worth it to do the process. But it is a process which requires will and energy. But I assure you, it works magnificently. Magnificently. And I'm happy to assure you, because it comes from an avatar whose work we are seeing every day succeeding at all levels. Is it all right? Do you feel hope? Vanda, do you feel now a new hope? Fine. And same with the husband. I have manifested this husband. Fine. You start to pray again. So many cases, and I've seen miracles. I have seen husbands who have been completely denying and prohibiting the lady to do the meditation, to even talk about the fact that she wanted to meditate. I have seen them allowing suddenly to build a meditation room in the house. I have seen them then starting to apply for the meditation teacher for the meditation level 1 classes. I have seen them perhaps not being able then to go the second time, but say, well, but our son should meditate. Wow, the same husband who was beating up the wife at all levels because she wanted to meditate. And this is just a case. But issues with what I have manifested, I start to work on the issue within me, which manifested it. Even if I don't know what that issue is, once I allow, through my Kriyas, through my meditation, through my Superconscious teaching technique, through my prayers, and and now we go to where I couldn't go in the satsang, affirmations and visualizations, I will see transformation. So, if this is clear, may I just say something important about 2 other tools that we couldn't address before because there was no time. Affirmations and visualizations, very important. These are the 2 areas of healing which Yogananda used to perform extraordinary transformations in people's lives at all levels. What does it mean? That we trick our present reality by 2 tools: the use of words and the use of our imagination. These are 2 forms of vibratory healing, which he says is the most powerful of all healing ways. I use the vibration of my words by creating words, choosing words which are affirming a reality, describing a reality which I wish for myself, but is not there. I am surrounded, I'm inventing now, but please know that there are marvelous affirmations in the book Scientific Healing Affirmations of P.Yogananda, in the book of Swami Kriyananda, Affirmations for Self-Healing, and more affirmations in metaphysical meditations, in Whispers from Eternity from Yogananda, although they are not specifically affirmations books. But there are affirmations in any sacred book, and there are affirmations coming of your sacred wish to be free from the present harmful conditions. It is a sacred wish. So I am surrounded by harmonious people which are blessing my life and which I am blessing in your name. Always involve God, not alone, not motivational things, not just you being who knows what. Involve Him. Involve Him. I am surrounded by harmonious people which are blessing my life and I'm blessing them. They are filled with thy light and they live in thy light, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Visualize the husband harmoniously moving around you, harmoniously talking to you. And I give you 2 examples of true situations that we have seen healed by affirmations and by visualizations. There was in Gwalior, Vivek and I, once a month, teaching Gwalior beside other places. There was a young man, maybe 27, who had a bad accident paralyzed half of his body for years, and they told him, you'll never walk again. One day, after perhaps a year that he was there lying in bed, he fell from the bed. No, ek minute. He had very, very good karma to be able to say in his mind, I don't accept this. So you see the will to act, not because most of the people, they would remain like that. He had the will to act opposite to what the destiny, the karma was giving him, not that someone ran on him. He produced that thing out of his karma. So he had the good karma to say, I don't accept, I walk. So he started to say, I walk, inside of him. He didn't know anything of yoga. But he started to say, I walk, I walk, I walk, I walk, I walk. One day, he fell from the bed, poor guy, he fell. He fell from, this after a year that he was there like that, or who knows how more, I don't remember, but it was a long time. He fell from the bed, nobody was there, and what he did? He walked. He stood up and he walked. He stood up and he walked. The power of affirmation. So it is not that you are to go in some transcendental book and check. I walk. Boy, he walked. He came to the class walking, he left walking. Affirmation. Visualization. And this, we go to another level. Visualizations, not only for yourself, and here I come to you, Vandana, also for the people that you are trying to help, or that you think that if you help, will help yourself as well. There was a psychiatric in Paris who had, the brother came to us and asked us for help. So this man, a psychiatric, had fallen into an extremely severe depression, almost suicidal, blocked in bed, a psychiatric, so highly intelligent, knowing all the tricks of the mind, blocked in bed with such a severe depression that all the doors and windows closed. He wouldn't talk. He was lying there under his blanket, day and night, day and night, day and night. So what we did, of course we prayed, but we started doing visualizations. What visualizations? Again, no cha-cha is doing better. Strong, 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 strong. So what do you do strong? You call God, and you see him, literally, literally. So what we did, we called Divine Mother. We visualize her entering in the door, and I'm suggesting all of you with problems in your family, see Divine Mother or God or one of the gurus or whatever. Maybe you are not disciples of Yogananda, I don't know. Maybe you are aligned with a certain saint, wonderful. See that saint. Or one of the gurus if you are part of this line of masters, fine. See it going at the gate of your house. Not even the door of your apartment, of your gate. Filled with light, shining light, vibrating light, emanating light. Lights in his hands, opening the gate becomes light. See him walking. Every step is filled with light, light becomes that pavement. See him reaching the door, opening the door. This is what we did with Divine Mother for that man. Opening the door becomes light. It enters and is all light. What Yogananda says, you do not chase darkness out with a hammer, with some shout, with, as we said, click, switch on the light. He says a cave can have been in darkness for thousands of years. Bring in a light, ek minute, ek second, it will be all light. The darkness will be, gone. So, we saw Divine Mother opening, doing all this, filling the house with light. Then see this light is following her and vibrating out of her everywhere. Then see her entering in the door of the famous man, psychiatric, under the bed. This is what we did, guys. And I tell you, we saw Divine Mother opening the gate, opening the door of the bedroom. Not enough. Not enough. Opening all the windows. She opened all the windows. She opened all the drawers, all the almiras, everywhere. And she did something more. Don't feel scandalized. Here, it takes lots of energy to resolve all stuff. We told her, lift up those blankets. We had her lifting up the blankets. Why? As we said, the first result of what Yogananda defined disease means darkness is to hide the problem. Only the effects will allow visible because the effects make you suffer. So it's a victory of darkness. So allow that darkness to be unveiled. So we said, Divine Mother, lift up those blankets. We saw her. We saw, not that we saw. We don't see anything, no? You pretend that you are seeing. Are you understanding? Like if you are creating a drawing in your mind. Do you understand? Fine. So we saw her lifting the blankets, lifting the bed sheets, uncovering him from the stale, rotten field of energy where his depression had put him. And we did this many, many, many times. One day, the call came from Paris to this friend, European friends in this case. He said, Cecilia, unbelievable. He was not talking for months. Do you understand that like that? He suddenly started to say a prayer to Divine Mother. He is an atheist. Bas, ho gaya, done, healed. Healed. Are you feeling some hope out of these two examples? I walk and Divine Mother with the psychiatrist in Paris. Are you feeling some hope? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, gratefully we do. Gratefully we do. Why this happens? Because, again, Yogananda explains very clearly. We go back to the superconsciousness. We go back to the involvement conscious and willed and conscious of involving the presence of God actively. He says that when you use words which are just carriers of consciousness. When you use words which are defining a reality, which is what you hope for, and we know that reality is only the latter, the latest manifestation of consciousness, because Yogananda explains that when God created the world for reasons that we cannot understand at this level of evolution, but when God created the world first, he manifested himself out of himself in form of thought, a blueprint there, a thought. Then he vibrated at denser levels in form of energy. So he gave energy to the thought. And then this process, energy added to thought, manifested the material plan. And Yogananda explains that this equivalence, this thing, this paradigm, this parameter of creation, this model, this skeleton of creation is valid for us as well, for our lives. We are creators. Every thought we think is manifesting a reality. Every thought process we think is manifesting a reality. Fine. Words are carriers of thoughts, are just sounds vibrating, manifesting a thought. And that thought is manifesting a consciousness. So, according to the words we use, we are manifesting a consciousness which is materializing in one reality or in another. So, if we use words intently concentrating here, we are starting to allow, he says, a volley of energy to shoot down and vibrate and heal. Means we are allowing the creative consciousness behind the new reality that we want. We are allowing that creative consciousness to vibrate, and he says, heal the diseased tissues of body, mind, and soul. He says that words used with, again, intention, faith, willingness, they are like highly vibratory bombs, able to shatter the rocks of difficulties, electrocuting physical bacteria, conflagrating fears. I'm using his words, Vandana. Conflagrating fears into ashes. Words used in certain ways. But without going through all the process of conscious, subconscious mind, whenever you want to really see a change, start to apply your superconscious mind by concentrating here and strongly say, I am free from this fear. I am free. It's an affirmation. I am free. This is what he did. He went to America, Yogananda. They offered him Rockford. I'm Italian. I'm European. In those times, America, especially the European high comforts were very much there. So Rockford is an elegant treat for your guests. We offer Rockford, which for you is just stale cheese. Instead, for us, is an elegant way of treating our guests. They offered it to him, to honor him. He felt disgusted, used to the nobility of paneer, such a noble, delicate, healthy cheese. But he couldn't offend his guests. People come first, isn't it? So he said, I just told myself, I love Rockford. I love it. Then he said, I became a big fan of Rockford. Then he said, yes. Then they offered me another stale cheese, because we have a lot of stale cheese in Europe, you know, smelling in a way that even out of your fridge the smell comes. Alas, but they are fantastic for us. Anyhow, I didn't do the process again. I thought I was done with the Rockford. And in fact, it's not that you have to be obsessed by affirmations when you are disgusted by something. Yes and not. You can do it with stale cheese, but sometimes you can't get rid of a wife or of a husband or of a mother-in-law like you would do with the second Rockford, isn't it? No? So anyhow, fine. So strongly, or when he was feeling seasick, he had a big journey to do from Boston to Japan. I don't remember from where to where. I know it is written, but I forgot. Alaska to Japan. Anyhow, he was so much looking forward for that journey. He went, he started to feel sick. And again he said, I will not allow this thing to happen. I want to enjoy this trip. I've been looking for it. So he said, I stood on the boat thing, and I strongly put my foot on the floor, and I said, I'm fine. I don't allow this sickness. I'm fine. And I enjoyed myself. Then he said I could do enormous trip from here to there, everything was fine. It is a matter of fact, not only him. He didn't tell us again, only to show us how great he was, but because same, right? So strongly concentrate here when you want to see it strongly, and affirm it here strongly, willingly. You can use loud words, but just strongly. He says, deeply, often, continuously. Deeply, often, continuously. You see, it takes energy, it takes will, it takes time. Or not. Let's allow His grace to operate, but let's do these steps, no? Fine. I think the case of our friend gave us the chance to touch many points, and many tools. I would like, though, to know if there are other questions. So, Daya, my bottle disappeared. If you can have another glass of water, I would be grateful. No, Daya, not you, because you are in the class. No, Daya, you are in the class. Okay, sit down. I command you. He's a commander. He's official, but this time I'm commanding him. Okay. So fine. Any other case? Any other case? Yes.
I have this feeling of guilt.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's regarding my mother.
Yes.
And she's not able to talk to me. I do want to talk, but I don't know.
Fine. Okay. So this is another classic case. There is a member of the family, close or not close, with whom I don't want to talk. I don't feel to talk. She doesn't talk to me. Fine. It will never resolve by reasoning it out. Never. You tried, it didn't work. You tried again. Maybe you sent Chacha to talk to. I can't see if you are a foreigner, Indian. I don't know, but doesn't matter. Anyhow, Chacha is an Indian word. So anyhow, fine. Prayer. Certainly visualizations, you see harmony between, you see you and her, you start to develop images, new images. You see you and her, and a divine presence around you, blessing both of you. with lots of light, But I want to give you what Yogananda gave. This was my invention now, but I want to give you the tool that Yogananda said to dispel disharmonies between people. And you know it is the prayer of peace and harmony. Do it with her. And I tell you how. He says, for 1 minute, you pronounce this prayer, Lord, fill her with peace and harmony, for 1 minute, which is about 10 times if you pronounce it normally. If you pronounce it mentally, maybe it's even 15 times. Lord, fill her with peace and harmony, Lord, fill her. And then for 15 seconds, which is about 3 times if you say it loudly, or maybe 5, 6 if you say it silently, fill me, Lord, fill me with peace and harmony, Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. Fine. 5 times a day. He says 3 times works, 5 times it works. Absolutely. So he doesn't use the word absolutely. He says it works unmistakably, just to say it works. So 5 times a day. Start. Do this. But accompany it with visualizations. It will make it even more powerful. So see, you and her standing one in front of the other, one beside the other, and try to pray for visualizations. They will come to you. You see the masters around, the two of you. You see Divine Mother with her hands above you, blessing you. Or you see her in front of you sending rays of healing from this karma. It is a karma towards your heart and her heart. See, these rays of healing, of peace, of harmony, of reharmonization, of resolution of conflicts. Grazie. Grazie. See these rays coming out of her hands, pacifying the conflict between you and her. See these rays coming out of Divine Mother's hands, or by the Guru's hands, or by any form of saint you feel attuned with. I don't know you. You know. You see that divine being sending from the hands towards your heart and her heart, and towards your mind and her mind. Why? Yogananda says mind and heart. Let's visualize mind and heart of the patient. Why? In the mind, as we said many times, there are seeds of karma grooved in the brain cells with exactly the memory of the situation, of the conflict.
So it's repeating?
Of course, obviously, it's repeating, which caused the repetition of the thing. Because your magnetism and her mind were such that you needed to meet again. Why? To resolve the conflict. The conflict does not get resolved by agreeing, not agreeing, talking, not talking. That is not the reason of our minds. The reason and purpose of our minds is to attune with the perfect harmony of God. So you have to raise to that level, going beyond the conscious and subconscious mind, going in that superconscious mind where you can pray at a level of creativity, divine creativity, and allowing the presence of God to work out of your will. You are willing to resolve the conflict, and then, take the next step. Not easy. Not easy. We are talking about conflict with another person. The next step. It's a difficult visualization. It's the visualization of forgiveness. Not always we can go to the person and say, I forgive you. We don't even want to forgive the person most of the times. But Swami Kriyananda describes forgiveness as a sword, cutting what? The thick energetical field which is bonding you again and again, life after life, with the same issue. So you visualize yourself in front of your mother and you say, what's her name? Daya. So listen. It's not easy. We understand it's not easy. Pretend that this is happening. It heals. I have seen it in many people. Visualization. See the person in front of you, say, I bless you. And I ask you to forgive me for whatever I have done, whenever I have done it, which has caused this conflict. I ask you, Mom, to forgive me for whatever I have done whenever, for whatever X who cares reasons, which have brought us again back here today with this conflict. I ask you to forgive me. And then I forgive you for whatever from your side caused this conflict. And I bless you. And I ask you, God, to bless her. To bless her, to bless her, to bless me in whatever forms we have been, and to bless, listen, our history. The history between my soul and her soul. Because those blessings, again, have an infinite power of projection. Same story. Same story. Send it there. You see like a long road behind you and your mom. Long, till you can't see anything. Bless it. With the intention to have those blessings, reaching the origin of the conflict. It will happen. I assure you, because I've seen it many times. Many times. Then people heal physically. From these conflicts, you know what happened? I've seen it. I've seen people with lots of things in their stomach. Fibromas in the uterus, all this. What are they? How much we have allowed that thing to invade us. We have eaten it so much that here they are. They are all the polyps, things, bacteria, full of bacteria, healed by this. Visualizations of forgiveness and blessings with God. Don't do it alone. See Divine Mother, no? In thy name, Mother, Divine Mother, in thy name, or my Lord, or my Guru, in thy name. I'm asking my mom to forgive him, or Mom, in the name of my Guru, of God, of Divine, I ask you to forgive me for whatever. And I bless you. And I ask my Guru to bless you. Don't remain alone in your poverty, you understand? Don't remain alone where you are. Invoke God, involve Him, convey His presence along the process. Same with children, mother-in-laws, and so on and so forth. Husbands, wives, same. Husband, understood? Boss, same. Fill the house, then fill the house of your childhood. Fill her womb. Because during pregnancy, lots of issues, lots of karma is there, getting reactivated, ready to burst. Send it to her womb. Enormous psychological issues in people because of things happened in those 9 months of pregnancy.
Yeah, we did have a lot of problems.
Yeah, Mom, I know. Because I see it. I see it in so many cases. So, bless the womb of your mother. Bless the waters of that area when you were there. What were you eating from that water? Whatever is called scientifically, and so on and so forth. Fine? Is it helpful to all of you? Yes. Because it's not my mother only, it's my boss, it's my cousin, it's my father-in-law, it's whatever, whoever. Huh? My neighbor, same. Others, or 9 minutes. Yes? Yes.
Sometimes you say that people have to be receptive to the healing, or can we still give it?
Yeah, this is a very important question. Usually it's the first question, and this came last. Fine. Did you understand the question? Does the person have to be receptive to the healing? What about the receptivity of the patient? In this case, patient is her mother, patient is her husband, patient is herself. You understand? So, P.Yogananda says, healing is due by 2 things, the power of the healer, I'll go deep in that, power of the healer, and the receptivity and faith of the patient on the healer, towards the healer. First of all, let's clear the power of the healer. It's not that Daya, has to be so powerful, otherwise the issue with the mother. Yogananda explains the power of the healer is nothing but the connection with God, the deep connection with God. Healers do not have power. The power, only power they have is their connection with God, either from this lifetime or from many lifetimes. Fine? If you go to the past lives of great famous healers, you see they were healers even at the time of Tutankhamun. I'm not joking. I'm not using this just to say Tutankhamun, you see the Tutankhamun. They were healers at the time of the old Iraq, where the civilization started. So 8,000, 10,000 years ago, already big healers. So, you know, it's connection with, they were all priests, because connection with God. Fine. So Daya can connect with God in her superconscious and doing the prayers, activating the presence of God through prayers, visualizations, and so on and so forth, as we said. And this is about the power of the healer. All of us have that if we connect with God. The second thing, the receptivity and faith of the patient towards the healer. Fine. So you say, oh, my mother, she doesn't even believe in God. She doesn't even want to hear. These are stories that I heard many times. She doesn't even want to hear about prayer. Forget me telling I'm praying for her and asking her, do you want prayers? And then she shouts and she breaks the vase on. Yes, there are people who destroy. Yes, I've seen. I'm saying things that I hear. So fine. It's not that darkness lives easily. It breaks objects sometimes. It breaks bonds. It makes us ill. It makes us lose money. It curses the entire family. So, yes, the receptivity of the patient, fine. But Paramahansa Yogananda, for cases, was not unaware that maybe 95% of the people for whom we wish healing are not open, are not receptive, there is no way we can involve them. He knew that very well. So what does he do? In the commentaries to the life of Christ, to the Gospels, he quotes an episode of the life of Jesus where one day, one man, desperate, went to him saying, my son is about to die. He was a nobleman from Capernaum and was a city of Israel. This man heard that Jesus had come to where he was for business. So he ran to him and he said, Rabboni, which is the way how Jews would talk to a master. Rabboni, my son is dying. Do something, heal him. The son was in Capernaum. They were in another city. They were in Cana, 22 kilometers. 3 hours walking, 4 hours walking. Good pace walking. So, son, in bed, dying, unaware, no phone, no WhatsApp, nothing, kuch nahi hai. There, couldn't talk, nothing. He saw Rabboni was coming, so he went and he said, if you don't see, you don't believe. But he didn't stop saying, if you don't see miracles happening, you don't believe. Jesus concentrated on the faith of this poor father towards his capacity of healing, because he knew he was a man of God. So he didn't think about anything but his faith. And he said, go, thy son liveth. So back home, reach home, the servant saw him come. He said, sir, thy son liveth, thy son liveth. He said, oh, what happened? He said, you know, at 7, the gospel doesn't say if it was 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., but the most important thing is that the healing happened at 7. The word of Christ was pronounced at 7. What does it mean? How did this power went to the unaware dying son 22 kilometers from where they were? And maybe mentally, kilometers away, eons away from the concepts of faith. Because the faith of the person who wanted the healing acted as the vehicle to the healing power of God to reach the person in need. So yes, it does work in any case. Maybe a little more time, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. It happens, we see it all the time. It happens, it happens. It does work. It does work. Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. So, your own faith, if you are willing to help someone, your own will, your own communion with God, your own dialogue, active, alive dialogue with God, yes. Maybe this doesn't happen tomorrow. Maybe it doesn't happen for 1 year. But be sure that every single action of healing that you do with faith, with love, has an impact on the karma of the situation, and it helps to erase layers and layers, although we never know how thick is that karma. But unshakable faith, Yogananda says, on the truth that God has heard the innermost call of your soul. These are his words. Beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. It's 2 minutes to 1, and I try to be punctual in all the needs of the contest where we move. So we will close in 2 minutes. I would like to know if anyone has a question which is not a monumental question. Yes?
Is it necessary to sit into meditation before sending out the healing?
No, it's not. It is not. It is not. Is unrealistical, and your question is a very good question. It is necessary to withdraw deeply when you want to use the healing tools for yourself, yes, but know that when you want to do a serious work of healing, you have to be a little bit withdrawn. You have to be actually, I tell you, Yogananda says, go, for instance, for that healing tool that we said, the one where we are vibrating, conveying the energy throughout all our body, tensing, and then this, he says, go in a private room and do this for 15 minutes. He said that. That private room could be also, though, symbolically, a place where you can put yourself, your mind, means a place of withdrawal, a place of concentration, a place where you can give your attention deeply, very deeply. He says, deeper, ever deepening attention. These are his words again. Deeper, ever deepening attention. Words of an avatar. So what does it mean? Bar attention, not just, hey, cha-cha, done. No. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. For all the reasons that we have explained. We are trying with all these tools to accelerate, to trick, to change processes which otherwise would last. Let me put it like that. Swami Kriyananda used to tell us that Paramahansa Yogananda used to tell them in Mount Washington, well, there are souls wandering at the beginning of a year of Brahma, still wandering at the end of that year of Brahma. Means millions of incarnations. No joke. So here we are all trying to trigger the process, to activate it, to accelerate it. So obviously to accelerate it is not just, I remember Swami Kriyananda saying, with your Kriyas, it's not that, I do my Kriya, take my coffee. Yes, I have my coffee even before Kriya, actually. But understand, to do a serious job, you need a serious space of your mind, of your consciousness, a serious time. Yes, you do. So yes and no. Yes and no. But no, don't think that every time, don't exclude all these things because you cannot meditate before. No. Do it. But do it intentively, with intention, with faith, with attention, with participation, total wanted communion with God. Contact with Him, deeply there. Deeply. Fine? For self-healing, just last thing. For self-healing, remember that. Yogananda explains about the need of meditation. Remember that. Yogananda says that during meditation, we feel two things. A certain peace in the body and the power of concentration. These are all his words. Certain peace throughout the body and the power of concentration in our spiritual eye. He says, when you bring these two, bring them to your brain. Because, and this is how I explain you how healing happens, because that power and that peace impregnate the brain cells, and when they get impregnated of that power of concentration, of that peace, they modify their chemical and psychological hereditary composition. Are you understanding, Vandana? That fear is inherited by your own, maybe also your family issues, but you have been attracted by the family out of your magnetism, which were from past lives where that fear was very much stamped there, marking your consciousness. So fine. When we concentrate at meditation, all that power of concentration and that peace in the brain, know that you are impregnating your brain cells of that power and of that peace. And when they are impregnated, that power and that peace, Yogananda says, modify the chemical, so all the physical disease issues, and the psychological hereditary composition, so all the mental and emotional issues. That's why, dear sir, yes, meditation is always important. But do not wait to have the famous meditation room, puja room ready with garlands and roses and a home sounding there and everybody in vacation, which never happens. Not only will never happen. Never. Even if you are a yogi in the Himalayas, no, the problems. They have scorpions, they have spiders, tigers. The tigers in their mind, because everything there comes, not that now I switch on television to distract, I go to Can Market to get a cappuccino, no. They are there in that cave with all those horror shows happening inside, outside. There is no escape, but within, with a method, not alone, no, method. That's why the Hong So we have, Hong So, you say, well, a simple practice. It was the initiation mantra given for sannyasis. For millennia, kept secret in India. Hong So. That we say, Hong So. Hong So, yes, Hong So. So, it is by being that realization of Hong So, striving to be that, trying to be that we allow all these accelerative healing processes to succeed. I hope it was helpful. It is 1:05. I thank Daya for, yes, sir.
Can you define me the definition of God?
Actually, I don't dare to define that because I'm truly just here trying to realize him with whatever I'm humbly applying of what my guru said. But you know what? No, sir, but your question is exactly, the definition of God is exactly whatever form of peace you are desperately looking for, whatever form of healing at all levels that you are looking for, whatever joy you are looking for, in whatever form you are trying to realize it, whatever happiness you are looking for, whatever highest aspect, higher manifestation of yourself you think you would like to be, that is what we define as God.